Hello everyone, welcome to Tutorials by Dacade. My name is Dacade, and in this video we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm not really gonna show you much in this video. Instead, I'm gonna talk about a few things, go over a few things, and then talk about the plans for the future. So if you're here to learn anything, I'm not really gonna be showing you too much. So please stick around though, as there's a lot of helpful hints and tips that I'm going to be giving you, as well as, again, the plan for the future. With that being said, before I go any further, I got to say first, if you've liked any of my videos, make sure you give them a big old thumbs up. Also, if you have liked my videos and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, as I have videos like this coming out all the time, and I don't want you guys to miss anything. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. So one of the first things I want to go over is we've been kind of just showing, or I've been kind of just showing you how to do things, but not necessarily showing you the right way. And what I mean by that, let me let me pull up my player script here. Once I find it, there we go. So we have this really long player script that is, well, over 400 lines. Now, mind you, there's blank lines and stuff in there, so it's not really 400 lines, but I like to space some of this stuff out so that way it's easier to read. But what you should be doing is breaking each of these little things down into their own script. So player movement should be a script by itself. Player damage and health should be a script by itself. Uh, any actions the player does, such as attacking or anything like that, should be a script by itself, because you can't have more than one script on an object, which we kind of already do on the player, I think. No, not on the player. There's something off the top of my head. I can't remember what it is right now, but there is something that we have like more than one script on. Well, technically, each system within that main thing should have its own script. So again, player movement should be a script, health should be a script, any actions should be its own script, any management type of things like health, magic, whatnot should be its own script. And it's not just on the player, it's literally everything. And it's more for, well, there's two purposes to it. The first purpose is to keep things somewhat organized, so that way you can, if you want to work on like player's health, for instance, you don't have to dig through 400 lines of code to find, the player health. You go to the player health script and it's all right there. The other reason is performance. Now, on a 2D game such as this, it shouldn't matter too much. However, if you start trying to do too many things within one script, it can bog down performance a little bit, even on a 2D game, but especially on a 3D game. So if your ambition is to go from a Zelda-like or an action RPG like this tutorial's teaching you, into some sort of 3D type of game, you're going to want to learn to break down all of these scripts into separate scripts for each function, each ability, each everything that you want to do. The other thing that I want to go over with you guys is some minor like fixes. So, on the theme of not being able to find something, I actually found it pretty quick. No, I didn't. That's not what we're looking for. Things down in the enumerators here. Yeah. So down here where we have the set bool is attacking to true, and then set bool is attacking false, and we have this little return yield return null in here. So I did this to avoid looping animations, and I don't know if I just wasn't thinking or what the case may be, but in your animator, you actually have a thing called a trigger. And instead of using a bool, you can use a trigger. It's almost the exact same thing, only you just say set trigger and then whatever you name the trigger. And then it just does that animation only once. Now, you still need some bools. Like we did the triggers already here for, what is this for? Looks like this is for the enemy, the log enemy. So we've already done a couple triggers here. That's what these little round check marks are. So for your player is attacking, instead of being a bull, you can change that to a trigger. That way you won't need to have, where to go? You won't need to have this little line in here. Yield return null, and then animator dot set bull is attacking the false. Instead, you can just, up in this line, you can change that to set trigger is attacking, and then you won't need this extra line of code. Not only does it eliminate some lines, but it also is a little bit better of a way to do that, just to avoid any type of looping animations or anything like that. The other thing that I want to go over, let me get back to my scene here, is I've just been kind of winging this as I go. Like, I have a plan of what I want to show you, but I don't necessarily have a plan to build a game. And what I mean by that is, like, I have a plan to show you, all right, well, we're going to do this next, and we're going to do that next. But I'm just kind of throwing everything into one room. I'm not putting much thought into, wait, maybe we have too many enemies in this room, or whatever the case may be. If you're actually designing a game, before you sit down in front of a computer and animate your first thing, draw your first thing, or code your first thing, you want to have a game plan. You want to know what's in room 1, room 2, room 3. And obviously you can make changes as you go along, like, hey, wait, this didn't work, so let's change this up. But like, you don't want to just throw everything into one room. You don't want to just make everything one giant cluster. You want to actually have some sort of game plan. So if you're following along to learn, hey, there's nothing wrong with what we're doing. But if you're following along to actually build and make a game, before you watch another tutorial, make sure you have some sort of plan in place of what your end goal is going to be. Again, this is just showing you how to do certain things. This is not like actually how to build a game. Again, step 1 involves a lot of thinking, a lot of writing down or typing up what you want your game to be. And in the actual game development world, that process alone could take months before anything is ever done in coding or animation or drawing. It literally could be months. So just keep that in mind if you're legitimately looking to build your first game. With that out of the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about the plans for the future. With summer coming up, my kids are going to be out of school. I'm going to have a little bit less free time, believe it or not. I am going to try to keep 2 videos a week. I may have to drop that down to 1 video a week. Once summer's over and my kids go back to school, then I might bump it back up to 2. But just giving you guys that heads up now that I may have to reduce down to 1 video a week. But my plans for those videos, I plan on going over NPCs. Matter of fact, my next video is going to be NPCs. We're going to make that into a couple different videos, actually, because we're going to have different types of NPCs. Some of them are going to just sit still, stationary, and you can interact with them, and that's all they do. Others are going to roam in a certain area. Others will roam the entire room. And then lastly, we'll go over ones that follow a set path that we can either loop or have them do at specific times in specific intervals. So that is the next set of videos right there. Then after that, we're going to go work on loot tables. So that way we can start getting loot for busting pots or taking care of enemies, things like that. At some point, I'm going to work on a branching dialogue system where if you've ever played, well, any RPG nowadays, but I'm trying to think of like games that have a really good branching dialogue, like say Mass Effect, where each decision you make can lead to a different conversation, and potentially each decision you make could potentially change the outcome of the game. We'll work on that at some point. We're going to add a couple more enemies to the game. The big one that some people have been asking for is transitions from scenes. So, like if we wanted to enter this house, that would be a scene transition. There's ways that you can do it where everything's actually in one scene, but that's not really effective or efficient if you're going to build a big game. If it's a small little game that takes maybe 15 minutes to beat if you were playing it, then maybe that wouldn't be a big deal. But if you're making a big game like a Legend of Zelda, then that won't work performance wise. So we will work on scene transitions. We'll work on boss enemies. So enemies that are like the final boss for a dungeon or the final boss of the game. That'll be coming down soon. Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of that we're going to be working on in the upcoming videos. Uh, with that out of the way, though, I want to end this video here. It's going to be a pretty short video, just talking about some mistakes we've made along the way and future plans. So I think we've done that. And with that out of the way, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, more tutorials specifically, make sure you subscribe as I have videos coming out all the time. And with that being said, thank you. Have a good one. And I'll see you on the next one.